Let's talk about Eric the Astronaut, which is his new name from today. I mean, Gary, you sounded pissed off.
You know, here's the deal with him. I realize he's handicapped. I understand that. But there's a lot of handicapped people who don't want your pity, don't want your mercy. He expects the whole world to be laid at his feet. And no matter what you do for him, it's never enough.
Let me set this up just in case you didn't hear it. Eric was offered an American Idol recap show a couple weeks ago. It was all set up, and then at the last minute, he just decided he couldn't make the trip, pretty much?
Well, yes and no. We canceled on him at first, and then we came back and said, we can do this. And at that point, he said, well, no, you canceled once. I can't go back on my plans now. It's too late.
So the show was off. Then, all of a sudden, it got brought back. Gary talked about Dunkelman and
Brian Dunkelman called us last week. Said his message said, I'm sure he was joking around, but he said, I'll swing by and pick up Eric and take him to do the American Idol show.
So you had Brian Dunkelman coming on, who was the first season co-host of American Idol. You had Big and Rich, who were huge country stars willing to be on the show. Right. I mean, everything was sort of tailor-made, and Eric called in and basically said he was going to pitch Bubba to do a NASCAR gig, and then maybe he'll do the show. And what's going through your mind when he's talking like that?
You know what? Here's where he lost me. This is going back, and Will knows this. About a year ago, he called the show, and he asked us to get him into an American Idol concert, and it turned out that it had something to do with the Maloof brothers, right? Turns out that where he lives, the Maloof brothers, who own what
Palms, right?
Yeah, they own the Palms, and they own the Mavericks, I think. No, not the
Kings.
The Kings.
They
I'm
own
sorry,
the
Sacramento
Kings.
Kings.
So we'd been out in Vegas, and we'd done some stuff, so I know George Maloof. He gave me a cell phone number. So I called George Maloof personally, and I set this whole thing up for Eric. I keep telling Eric, I'm going to get you in. Don't worry, his office called me back. He leaves me, I guess I took one day too many to get back to him, and Will remembers this. He leaves me this scathing message. Listen right now, Gary. If this is your idea of a practical joke, I'm never talking. And he starts giving me shit. And I'm thinking I'm working overtime to get this, pain in the ass into this concert that he could just buy a ticket for. He's handicapped. You buy a ticket, they wheel you right up to the front anyway. But I got him in, got him backstage. He met, was it Carrie Underwood? I don't even know. He met whatever idol he wanted to meet. But you just can never do enough for him. So he's on my list of people who's never great. He never thanks you. Whatever, if you tell him you got something for him, he'll give you an extra thing that he needs more. And I just think that you should be grateful.
Right. I mean, we got him a guest spot on the show. It was an NBC show, American Dreams.
Right? Yeah.
And instead of thanking us, he was like, the cast there is so much nicer than you people. Why can't you be like the people there, more friendly? It's like, asshole, we got you that spot.
In fact, I gave him shit about not thanking me, and I got on the air and I go, Eric, I set this whole thing up. I did all my time setting it up. How about a thank you? And you hear like this, thank you. Not even hey, thanks a lot. Like he gives you the bare minimum thank you that he has to give you.
Bob in Illinois, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Hey, look, Eric's a loser, man. He doesn't appreciate what you guys and Howard is trying to do for him, and I think he'd be a total loser if you gave him a show spot. Let him go to Bubba, and they can strap him on the hood of a NASCAR as a hood ornament and take him around the track.
I thought it was sort of funny today. I find him to be very boring, but when he got into the whole rap about why he would never have Fantasia Barrino on his show, I think he's got all these thoughts in his head that I think are very amusing.
I do, too. And I think he said she doesn't project the right image for the Idol winner.
Because she's knocked up and because she can't read.
That's Dale in Chicago, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
How you doing, Dale?
It's all good, baby. It's all good. Eric, the actor, midget, whatever you want to call him, he doesn't need a show. He doesn't deserve any sympathy. I'm totally blind. And I don't need any sympathy. Eric, you don't get a show, big fella. I want to say, generally speaking, though, everything is going great on the channels. Bubba is great. Artie is on fire. The wrap-up show is great. Everything is great. You guys are doing a great job. I just want to say I got my Sirius. I had it a year ago. I got stock, too, baby, and it's going up.
Thanks, Dale.
Everything is great.
Everything is great. We appreciate your enthusiasm, man.
I loved it when we were trying to come up with names for Eric, when we found with Eric the actor, and Artie came up with, why don't we call him Eric the freakishly small human?
Well, now he's Eric the Astronaut officially. I think he was anointed that new title today, which was which was kind of interesting.
But the thing about him too is, listen, if he cooperated, he'd be no fun. I mean, that's sort of the charm of Eric, is that he's so resistant, and he no matter how much shit we give him, he's threatened to never talk to us again. How many times, Will?
Oh, I've had at least 20 voicemails threatening to never.
That is it. I'm done.
Right.
And then and then all of a sudden he'll call again 2 days later.
No, it's funny because you'll be like, all right, you're done. And then 3 days later, it's like, oh, you're not going to come back and kiss my ass?
Exactly.
Let's go to Justin in Florida. Justin, you're on the wrap-up show. Justin?
Bubba the Love Sponge fucking rules.
You told us.
Well, thanks for proving that point there, Justin. We appreciate your call. Now, let's say this show goes down and actually gets done.
Right.
What are your expectations?
Well, I just spoke to Tim about it. We don't think we're going to be. We think it's too ambitious to send him outside at American Idol. So they're going to set him up in a studio. We'll call Dunkelman. I don't know what Big and Rich's schedule is, but say it just ends up say all it is Eric. So fine, let Eric do his thing. Well, I mean, what would you set him up with anything, Will?
No, I mean, he has his own agenda already. So I think it's just like, let him set it up, let him do whatever he wants, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a train wreck, but it'll be funny.
I mean, if he's sitting there by himself giving his recap with the contestant numbers and everything else, I mean, it's got to be so bad it's good.
And the other thing is, it went by a little quick today, but don't you think, handicapped or not handicapped, there's something way wrong with the guy who votes 451 times for the finals?
What do you say, 433 votes for Diana DeGarmo?
Who, we should get her to call the show, because he clearly thinks that she should have won. And in his mind, she's the American Idol.
You know what? If she was appearing on the show and it was here, I guarantee you he'd be on the next plane to New York without any problem whatsoever. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Wrap-Up Show only on Howard 100 and Howard 101.